So I just want to quickly share with you guys why this is a fantastic choice to do and why I made the choice. And so, Carrolee, I'll let you ask any question that you'd like, and then I'll share.
So I'm gonna ask some quick questions. The first one is, how did you find me?
Well, honestly, I found you on kind of a podcast, really. I found you and just thought you were exceptional. Number one, the way you told your story, I wanted to be able to do the same thing. And so I saw you on a podcast talking about how you did this. And I said, oh my goodness, she's not just telling people that she can help them do it, but she's actually like talking, walking the walk, right? So to see you be a phenomenal guest on the podcast that you were on the YouTube channel that I saw you on, really translated to not being like she's just gonna give advice, but that this person is modeling it, and that really impressed me.
So I was gonna ask you what made you choose us over any other option, but I
Yeah,
think that kind of says it. Like, hey, this person is actually also doing it. It's not just selling, because again, you anything that you buy on the internet, there's people's like, this is how I built this 25 what. Like, what they're not telling you is they did that 10 years ago and they have no idea what's working right now. We are still pitching me right now. That screenshot that you saw about the pitch letter was a pitch for me. Right? We're still doing that and we're still testing things with me. And when we see it works, we use it for our clients. So that's really good. The next thing I wanted to ask you, as far as your goals for 2025, why was visibility so important, and why did you think about like investing?
absolutely. So, in my story, just a little bit of background to kind of help you understand why I made this choice, this fantastic choice, in my opinion. I have owned my consultant firm, my learning and development consultant firm, for about 5 years now. But I had one foot in the W-9 lane and one foot, of course, working for myself. And so I wanted to switch gears and jump completely into full time entrepreneurship. So, in my first year of doing that, I felt it was incredibly important to align myself in a space that allowed me to increase my visibility, but not just increase my visibility, but really market myself as the expert that, of course, Carrolee talked about, that each and every one of us who's on this call is. And so being able to do that has been absolutely phenomenal for my business. I had clients that, of course, already knew about the skills that I did, but literally seeing my inbox be with people who go, I saw you on this podcast. I already know you're engaging, so I want you to come and do a training for my team. Or to say, oh my goodness, I heard you talk about your book on this podcast, really changed the game for me. Just in the small time that we've been working together, I've already either been scheduled to be on podcasts or have already recorded with almost 10 podcasts at this point. And when do we schedule? When do we? I can't remember when I signed on. It hasn't been more than 2 or 3 months, right?
Yeah, it hasn't it hasn't been that long. I
Yes.
mean,
So
we get in there. I want you to talk about your prep session with me, because as much as they won't have me pitching them on podcasts, they will have me helping them to kind of prepare for this podcast episode, and I want you to kind of get in there with that.
absolutely. So to me, the fact that you were offering that, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm jealous. Okay. Most of the reason that I am is because not only do Carolee and Michael help you kind of really craft what your lane is and who you are and the story that you want to tell, but you actually get time in order for her to ask you questions, for her to give feedback about the way that you answer it. So it's not just to get on to podcasts, it's not just to have your pitch letter that you're going to be sharing and be able to schedule those. It's about what you say. Every one of the podcasts that I have recorded recently, that people talk to me about different things, go, oh my goodness, like you are. And we're talking about people who have oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of his show right now. The Brand You. I just recorded a conversation with the Brand You, which is one of the biggest podcasts. He has like 10,000 episodes that are on his YouTube channel, on his podcast space. And this man literally said to me, "You have been one of my favorite guests because you were so engaging." And it wasn't just the engagement, it was how I answered the questions. And so much of that came from Carrolee's prep and her being able to give me those hot things to talk about, as well as those PowerPoints. They have come in clutch and have made all the difference for people going, "I have to have you back."
Love, 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 love that. You know what? I wasn't going to do this, but if anyone is currently either on the fence or you're processing right now to become a client of ours through this offer, if you have a question for Dr. Erin that you want to kind of ask as it relates to her podcast guesting experience, this is the moment. Like, any question, anybody want to raise their hand and hop on? Okay, Rodney, you can come off mute and ask your question really quickly. Ooh, Michael, you want to help Rodney get off mute? There you go.
Okay, there we go. Hello,
Hey, Rodney.
Hi, nice to meet you. I have a podcast myself, but I've never pitched myself to other shows. And I've received pitches from people who I go, "Why are you pitching me? Because this has nothing to do with my show." But anyway, but I guess the question I want to ask is how, in your experience, when you are interviewed on other people's shows, how is it? Are you bringing them like to your website and they're getting on your email list, and then you're able to follow up and so on and so forth, and that's how you're able to track the ROI between being on the show too? Okay.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of big pieces there. The first one is literally that I have people who reach out and go, "Whatever you're doing at," like I said, I'm sitting here at the community college of Baltimore. Sometimes I can't even remember where I am because that's how it is, right? They go, "Oh, you posted." One of the other big pieces too that Carrolee is so good at and called me out on, and I needed it, was that she was like, "You are not supposed to just be on the podcast and post one time about the podcast. You need to be curating that information." And it was something that I saw her doing, which made me again say, "I'm going to make this commitment," which is much higher than the price that she's doing for you guys. So I'm a little jealous. Okay. I keep saying that, but I truly mean it. So our package together is that 6 month piece, but in it, there were two big things, right? Number one, she was able to help me understand that breaking that content up is not hitting people. They haven't seen it, right? The way algorithms are really disrespectful to the way that we try to do things out there in our visibility, that was a huge piece of what we talked about. The second thing is beyond it just converting, of course, to clients, going like, "Hey, I'm flying you out. And for me, I have a minimum that you have to pay for my travel. I don't do receipts, okay? I'm telling you that 2K is what it is, and that's what it's going to take for me to do whatever the case is." And we're talking about clients who go, "Yeah, sure, okay," right? I was just with Boston College. Theirs was 2,500, and that was just for me to travel, right? So it's not just those pieces and the conversion to that, but it's also been exactly like you said. For me, it's been book sales. I've been able to track through Amazon as well as through my own personal website, how that, of course, has gone up even more than me just being at different places and selling it and talking about it in my own personal spaces. That has changed. In addition to that, you're absolutely right. You start to see more people who are interested in what you have to say. So my blog posts, of course, like I see that those have gone up, in addition to more emails showing up on my email list, which again, like you talked about, can actively be people who start to book you.
Got you. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
no, thank you, Rodney. Good to meet you.
You
All right.
too.
Anyone have like a really quick question?
Yeah, and then I'm going to head.
Yeah, I know you have to go.
Anyway, I'm happy to answer just about anything. I didn't see any more hands, but I did want to say one last piece. If you're looking for someone who will fight for your visibility, the same way that she treats the way her visibility allows for her to do this, this is what you need. And it's not just her. She has Michael on her team. Michael emails me every day. I think I talk to Michael almost more than my own husband at this point, since, like I said, I spend a lot of time out on the road. But Michael works so hard under, of course, the leadership of Carrolee to send not just like emails, because you can hire somebody from anywhere to send emails, to send those pitches. Rodney was just talking about that. That's what's happening. The people are getting people who don't know what they're doing to send emails to people who have nothing to do with what you're talking about. Every one of my pitches have been to people who want to hear about leadership. They want to hear about my expertise. They want to hear about how I use relationship intelligence in order to make teams more cohesive, and how I have become an entrepreneur that in the last 6 months, I've already made 6 figures for the year, right? So these are the people who, number one, that list that she's given for free, like I said, I'm a little jealous, okay? These are the people who are on these types of lists. We're not just talking about sending to anybody who's mom and pop having 1 or 2 views, and that's fine. Everybody has to start. Listen, my YouTube channel just started, so it's not pop locking and dropping either, but I have literally from podcasts start to see that people are subscribing. Every day I go, another subscriber. And these are people who are hearing me because of the expertise of Carrolee and the hard work of Michael, who truly believe in you and want to get you the visibility you want. So this is the investment to make. I had a lot of people telling me a bunch of different things as I was starting out, and this was the investment that I chose to spend my little scared first year entrepreneur money on. Carrolee and I had that conversation. I said, I don't know if I can come up off this money. And it has been one of the best things that I have done. Again, where else are you getting people who care about your visibility like them? So do it, right? Ask yourself, what would the most successful version of you choose to do after you left this conversation? And I know for sure that the most successful version of you, the most visible version of you, the one that's kicking butt and is in everybody's feed, is the one that says yes to this, okay? So I've got to hop off because I've got to jump back on another plane to go to someone who reached out to me after they saw me have a conversation that Carrolee got me on a podcast for. So you guys take care. And if I can answer any questions, feel free to look me up on LinkedIn, Dr. Erin Wilson. Take care. Carrolee, I adore you. Bye.
Thank you so much for doing this, Dr. Erin. You are amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. We'll talk soon.
Bye. Look for me in podcast. Bye.
Bye.